What's going on, guys? Back for another one of these. Did one last year after the LSU game. Now finally got some time. I can do one here after the Ole Miss-Oregon game on Sunday. The first two are defensive clips to kind of show some of these ball screen actions for the throwback jump shots that Mike Moser was able to get for Oregon. This first one, Jonathan Lloyd pulls it out, pulls things back and resets, and you see Moser, number 0. Once they get the play call in, he kind of walks up into a ball screen. And what Ole Miss was doing here on the ball screen is they were hedging, they were half blitzing, whatever you want to call it. And what that means is the defender guarding the ball screen right here, I believe that's Aaron Jones. His job is to wall up the ball handler and not let him turn the corner. Once a guy turns the corner and gets into the paint, good things are going to happen for 99% of Division I teams. So that was the reason behind Ole Miss's ball screen defense there. But here's what happens. Instead, you see Jarvis Summers gets caught on the screen, but Jones gets dragged out. And by Jones getting dragged out that far, it's a long closeout. And Lloyd hits on the throwback to Moser. And here's the problem. Jones can't recover in time. Jarvis Summers isn't supposed to recover there unless there's a switch, which there was not. And that leaves even a guy like DeMarco Cox as your third option getting here to close out. On the throwback, Summers has to emergency close out. That's a step spot 3. Next clip is the same sort of thing. This actually might have been a possession earlier, I believe. I could have paid attention to the score as I was doing this, but I didn't. Lloyd resets. They get a ball screen up here for Moser. It's kind of you see Moser kind of act like he was going away. It's Sebastian Saiz this time. Saiz gets there. He walls up and has to hold up Lloyd, but the problem is he's still on him a few steps past. You see Lloyd get to the middle third of the floor, and that's where defenses want to keep teams out of, is the middle third. You want to keep the offense sided. And what that means is you want to direct them to one side of the floor and keep them there. Instead, Lloyd gets around the ball screen and gets all the way to the middle third, and that forces Sebastian Saiz to stay with Lloyd longer than he needed to. And so there's your issue. Now Saiz has to recover back to Moser. That's a long closeout for him. Millinghouse, his job is to contain Lloyd, and then there's nobody down here who's going to be able to get to that closeout. There's another throwback. Saiz is way late getting there, actually tries to do as best he can, and that's a knockdown 3. Here's a few offensively. Ole Miss, against kind of this, it was a trap pressure back into some zone looks that Oregon went to quite a bit in this game. And you'll see here, they'll run Henderson and kind of basically exchange the guards across the baseline. But instead of going with it, Oregon stays at home. And because they stay at home on the guard exchange, watch Sebastian Saiz. That is a straight line pass. Moser's already caught on his leg, kind of on the high side. If Saiz had sat down, he would have had an easier bucket going towards the block. Instead, he sits down. He then posts a couple dribbles over the left shoulder. Good move for the freshman. Next one's off an underneath inbounds. And this, they run two different staggers really out of this. Perez to the corner. Millinghouse on the catch. Now, the original action off of this is a double stagger for the inbounder. In this case, it was Jarvis Summers. So you've got Marshall Henderson and Aaron Jones setting the double stagger. So off that initial action, what Ole Miss is hoping to do is that Oregon really pays attention to this original double stagger, and that would leave Marshall Henderson open in the corner off a screen down here on the block. So they stay with, Perez sets a screen, not great communication or defense on that screen, because you see the defender on Perez, he barely stunts, he doesn't hold up Henderson at all, and the guard gets caught on Perez. That's a catch, that's too much time. Henderson knocks it down. Same play here. They run the exact same thing this time, but watch, this is what Marshall Henderson does just by being on the floor. He creates opportunities for his teammates. They run the same play, and because they got burned on it already, both defenders fly at him. So by flying at him, look at that. There's two guys there, and who's wide open? Anthony Perez. Pass, foul, go to the free throw line. Here's another one where I believe this is Martavius Newby in the game. You see Millinghouse pull it out, and Oregon's in zone here. And you'll see what happens. Ole Miss against zone, they'll go with these ball screens with the bigs up high. Aaron Jones comes up, sets a ball screen for Jarvis Summers to kind of turn the corner. as he turns the corner, watch this. You see right here, DeMarco Cox is already in the process of sealing his man off inside. And this is against a zone, but here's why this is already over, as Newby is making the bounce pass. The defender for Oregon standing straight up. DeMarco Cox's hips are low. They're actually at Oregon's defender's knees, and it's ball game from there. The only thing that's going to happen here is either a basket for DeMarco Cox or a foul on Oregon. That's great positioning, a great duck in by DeMarco Cox. Bounce pass, Cox catches. That's an easy layup. Great job by Cox. That's something he's gotten much better at, and you've seen that already this season. And the last one, another one where Henderson creates an opportunity for his teammates. They set up, and basically Henderson just runs off a floppy action. You've got a double stagger on one side, you got a single stagger on this side, and fact is the defender was already, and I believe that's Lloyd, was already caught behind Henderson, so it made it easy for which side Henderson chose to come off of. He goes off the double because Lloyd was behind and trailing so far behind. Moser has to run at Henderson. And because Moser has to run at Henderson, his man, DeMarco Cox, right here, slips right to the basket. Bounce pass. Should have gone straight up with it for a layup. Instead, he puts the ball on the floor. Shot gets blocked. He recovers and lays it up. That's just a few clips. I hope I can be able to come back later on in the season, maybe a little more frequently if I get some time to do some more of these. I hope you guys like them. If you do like them, I will come back and do some more. But other than that, I hope you enjoy.